Hi everyone! Welcome to another one of our streams. As you can see, I have a better webcam now, so you can actually see what I'm doing way better. Today what we're gonna do is... Where'd it go? One moment. There you are. So, last time what we did was we made this line art for our new cover. And we're basing it off of this original cover art, but we're redoing it so that my coworker can draw TeeBee on top of this scene in her style. We also, in the last episode, I'm calling this episode 2 because we're working on a different piece of art. But in the last episode, not last part, last episode, we made this wonderful fair scene. So that's the style that we're going to try and do it in. So I'm going to grab my iPad and pull up our references for today. And I think that what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this and set it up right over here so I can see what our colors are. You can't see it, but I can. It's right next to Punk here. Let me pull up the... Oh, and I can show you guys the art that my coworker did over the... Look at how wonderful she is. So she did this using this art as a background. She made all, like, there's TeeBee and his dad and all these background characters and this sign here. And it's all wonderful and great, but it doesn't quite match the style of the original cover I made. So what we're doing now is we're making a new background, watercolored, line arted, everything, and then I'm going to scan it back in so that she can do this on top of this, and TeeBee's going to still be in the same pose that he is in this art. So, let me pull up my actual references here. I have my reference collage of how trees look. Let's put it, where should we put it today? I think I'm actually going to stand it up. Let's turn on screen rotation, flip it around, and I'm going to stand it up right here so I can see it, and you can kind of see it too. And we have our water and our watercolors with my favorite paintbrush, our same Velvet Touch Round 4. And actually, I'm gonna go grab my phone real quick so I can use that for our color vision app. One moment. I'm back. And now I have the... Where did that little app go? No, not the gift maker. That's for my other job. What I want is the CV simulator. Here we are. Now let's turn on all of the colored visions so we can look at our colors and see what's what. So in the original one, the original painting that I made, the tree comes out very pink in the tritanope form of color vision, and the leaves come out as this beautiful, like, turquoisey green blue. And the tree trunk and leaves kind of blend in with each other in the red-blue forms of color vision, but that's okay, I think, because TeeBee stands out a lot better in those two than he does in the Triton Oak version. And so I'm going to try to keep that same color scheme. I think what I used was this brown with only like a hint of this terracotta color. So that's what I'm gonna do. But let's test. We have our throwaway background we never used. Let's test on the back of it. And what I'm doing here is I'm making swatches of both the browns, and then I'm going to make one swatch with like the two browns combined. And I'm going to check on my color vision app and see how that looks. Yeah, so these show up a lot better than these. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of this, but mostly for shadows, and mostly focus on this for like the bulk of the bark. Because this is a good shadow color. Oh, sorry about that. So let's start with a wash, kind of, I think. We're going to use a lot of water and a very small amount of the pigment for this first layer of color. I'm going to bring in a bit more of that. And I might actually turn down the intensity of this light because I can't really see what I'm doing all that well. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. Making all this color happen. And I think that next time what I might try to do is I might try to figure out a way to get some NCS playing in the background, so no copyright sounds, so that when I am focused on painting or drawing like this, you guys won't be bored. But I'm gonna wait till Friday to do that because I need to do some tech research. Hey, fun fact, you guys, did you know that the last webcam I was using was one that my girlfriend won from a Dave & Buster's? Not sponsored by it, but and I got this one just yesterday at the Micro Center. And I think it's working a lot better for us so far. Oh, goodness. Oh, let me check something real quick. I think that it's upside down on you guys. I'm gonna check. One just yesterday. Yeah, that's upside down. So let's... how do you fix that? I don't know how to... Is that better for you guys? Can you see better? I'm gonna hope it's better. I just clicked flip vertically on OBS Studios. Okay, yeah, that works. Yay! Now you can see what I'm doing. Like, actually. Oh, that's very pigment. Let's water that down. Oh, but that might work because it's behind this other branch. And oh, we're getting some depth in here. How lovely. Oh, these are some colors. Yes. This is going to be a very warm tree. Actually, I'm going to pull up my tree references again, just to make sure we're making it look like an actual magnolia tree. Okay, so magnolia trees are typically a bit of a cooler tone than this, bark-wise. So I think I'm going to go through and add that other color, but I'm going to wait for that until I get this first wash down, maybe. So that we can have some very multi-layered tree colors. Maybe. And I'm glad I've started doing this. Yeah. This is nice. This tree is looking very good, I think. I might take a quick break soonish to have some bites of my oatmeal. Because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I'm going to lower my chair a little bit. There we go, feet flat on the ground. It's good ergonomics. Keep your ergonomics good. It's important to take care of yourself, especially when you're doing all this art. I think I might bring in a bit of this other color too. Okay, maybe a bit higher so that my arm is in a good pose. I think that's a good middle ground. Okay, I think this is a good pausing place to have a small bite of oatmeal. And I've made myself some maple apple cinnamon oatmeal. It's good to take care of yourself. And next time, I'm going to try to eat my breakfast before coming on stream, because that's the smart thing to do. I don't always do the smart thing, though. People make mistakes sometimes, and that's okay. I enjoy oatmeal, especially the kind with like fruit in it. I also really like cereal and toast sometimes, usually with like peanut butter and jelly on it. Well, sometimes I have it with like butter and honey or cinnamon sugar. I've got a sweet tooth. Eggs are good. I like eggs. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't usually have breakfast. Sometimes I have like fake breakfast meats, like I'll have a fake chicken patty. I've been vegetarian since I was 12 years old. And part of that is because my dad was also a vegetarian. He's a pescatarian now. The difference is that a vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat meat, but does eat dairy and eggs and stuff. Like, I eat stuff that doesn't hurt the animal to get. Like chicken eggs, that's a symbiotic relationship. Not all chicken eggs contain chicken babies. Only the fertilized ones do. So if you have unfertilized eggs, that's good free protein. And chickens will make eggs if they're well taken care of, regardless of whether or not they're about to have little chicken babies. You can tell the difference by holding the egg up to a light and seeing if there's an embryo inside. Most store-bought eggs don't have an embryo, but it's good to check just in case if you get a dozen eggs from like a farmer's market or something. It's good to support your local farmer's market though, because those are local people who, like, you know, they know the chickens. They take care of their chickens. I used to work for a cow farm, and I met those cows. They were very happy cows, happiest cows I've ever met. And I think it's good to know where your food comes from. And I might be a vegetarian, but your dietary needs might be different. You might be a pescatarian like my dad and eat fish still. You might be vegan and not want dairy products or meat products or eggs or anything at all. You might be lactose intolerant and not be able to have any dairy products at all, but still eat meat and eggs and stuff. And all of those are okay, you know? Or you might be, I had a roommate who had an iron deficiency, so he would eat lots and lots and lots of meat in order to help his body stay healthy. And I think those are all really good things. And he would still, like, you know, he made all the rest of us all kinds of yummy food. He made matzo ball soup and, like, he made a lot of lentils for me because he was like, Maeve, you're vegetarian. You don't get enough protein in your life. Have some protein. And I was like, okay. And I was internally like, yay, free food, because I was in college. And unless it's like, again, like unless you're allergic to something or it goes against your dietary needs, when you're a college student, you typically accept most free food. That's just how it is. And I think it's good to take care of each other. Like, I think it's very human to make food for each other. Like, my little sister used to make eggs for my entire family because she was really, really good at eggs. She knew exactly when to stop boiling them, exactly when to, you know, move them around and stuff. She was just good at it. And my dad has this wonderful vegetarian chili recipe that no one else thinks is chili. Everyone else looks at the recipe and they're like, that's like a bean fruit stew. I'm not sure if you can call that chili, but that's what he calls it. And I think that we should respect what other people want to call their own creations. But it was really yummy. It has kidney beans and raisins and apple slices and peppers and stewed tomatoes and carrots and celery. And I'm salivating just thinking about it. It's such good chili. And it's especially good with like sour cream and rice. Yeah. Maybe I should have a few more bites of oatmeal. Maybe I'm talking about all this food because I'm just really hungry. I'm gonna do that. Nom. I think this tree is turning out pretty good. Got some nice shading in here. And I'm going to bring in that other brown in a little bit because it's good, but it looks very pink to me. And not that pink trees are bad necessarily, just that it's a little bit weird. Trees aren't usually pink. Maybe I'll have pink trees if I ever make like a fantasy setting on stream for you guys. I do have other fantasy settings, but I don't think any of them have pink trees yet. That might be fun. I think it's fun to make up little songs, to sing little songs in your head when you're doing work like this. I think in some ways it's good for you. Keeps yourself occupied. Now that I'm looking at it, this might want a few more lines. That's what happens sometimes during art. You're working on an entirely different step of it, and you think you've moved on, but then you look at it as you're working on it, and you're like, oh, it could use this actually. I think maybe I won't add the lines with a pen though, because I already scanned in the line art. It's supposed to be for a coloring book too. I might like imply the lines with some darker colors when I go in to paint that foresty area. Make sure to stretch. I have the Mystery Skulls Future song stuck in my head now. Do any of you guys like Mystery Skulls? I'm sure you do. It was like one of the very first indie animated things, wasn't it? Or at least one of the very first ones on YouTube. And I know, I'm not sure if people count it as an indie cartoon, since it's more of a series of music videos. I think it counts though. It's got a good storyline, it's intriguing, it's engaging, and each of the episodes are very short, but I think that sort of adds to it, because that, and they release very, very long between each other, but I think that also adds to it, because you know in your heart and soul that the people working on it have been taking their time with it and making sure that it's good. And you just kind of have to appreciate that, especially since I don't think they have that big a budget. And there's a saying in the industry, oops, that's not a branch, that's a river. Do I have a, I might have to grab a paper towel real quick. Hold on one moment. Do I have my... Can you see that? We'll be right back. Let me go find a paper towel. I'm back. I found not a paper towel, but a box of tissues, which works just as well, if not better, I think. Let's get that brown out of the river. There we go. Because it's a river, it's supposed to be blue. Yeah, I watched the newest season of Sonic Prime yesterday. I thought I'd space it out. I ended up binging the whole thing. It was fun. A lot of the fight scenes felt like, you know, I would want to play this game if it were a game, because it felt a lot like gameplay. Which is different from the first season, because the first season felt a lot more, intentional, I think, with its fight scenes specifically. They used the environments very well and creatively. Like, if you guys remember that one laser fight scene with, like, the laser just going around the whole room, like one of those games that you'd play with a jump rope in the playground. And it just kept going. And it was really fun. They didn't have as much of that in season 2. They did have really good characterization, though. I loved Shadow in season 2. He was really good. And I'm not trying to spoil anything for you guys who haven't seen Sonic Prime or Sonic Prime season 2. I'm just talking about the things that are on my mind. I think that spoiler culture has sort of kind of, I'm a little bit older, so it's a little bit, like, a little bit older, I'm 25, but you know what I mean. Like, I remember when Blockbuster was a thing, and I grew up with a VHS in my bedroom, so, like, I feel like spoiler culture has gotten a little bit weird. Like, I personally think that when you experience something for the first time, even if you know what's going to come, if it's a good story and it's done well, it's still going to hit you. You know, you might even be looking forward to parts that you know about. And be excited to see how it's portrayed. It's like, when I was growing up, I mean, I didn't really know the plots of anything because we didn't really have the internet back then. But I had a basic idea in my head of how most stories would turn out. Like, you know, there's usually a happy ending. There's usually a, you know, someone's gonna win. But even if you know who's gonna win a fight or whatever, you're still invested in how it happens. You're still invested in the story itself, especially if it's a good story. And I can watch stuff over and over again, even knowing what's going to happen, and I still enjoy it. And usually I'll pick up on stuff that I didn't notice the first time around. You know? Like, especially, I love it when you watch a story or read a story or whatever again, and you know what's coming, but you can pick up on all the little pieces of foreshadowing that are hidden away in there that you didn't even think to pay attention to earlier. And it's just like, whoa, they had this in their heads from the very beginning. They knew what they were doing. They knew how the story was going to happen. And that's just kind of really cool. And as someone who is a creator myself, I know that sometimes the story just sort of kind of happens without you planning it out. But then you yourself, as the creator, go back and you notice your own foreshadowing that you didn't even realize was there, and it's magical because it feels like the story just came to life and has a life of its own almost. And that's amazing. And I love it. What we're doing here is we're adding in that second layer of slightly different brown that I was talking about earlier. Like, we brought in our warm brown, now we're bringing in our cool brown, our little yellowy brown, as opposed to our reddish brown, in order to create some. I'm going to use it mostly for undertones, but I'm going to try to bring a little bit of this color into the whole bark of the tree. To like make it richer. Time check. Okay. It's 12:09. Got a couple hours. Oh shoot, I forgot to hit start recording. Oh well. I'll remember to do that next time. Maybe I'll write myself a note to remind myself to do it. Okay, water. And a few more bites of oatmeal. That's good stuff. Bring into this more colorful tones in here. Oh yeah, there we go. And I'm thinking of like other things that I could do to make this more entertaining for you guys. Maybe I'll like convince my little sister to teach me how to use Live 2D. So I could make myself a little cartoon model to, you know, have a face next to this as I'm painting. She's really good at this stuff, at that kind of thing. She makes like, she can make like 10 Live 2D models in a day. It's insane. I'm really proud of her. Like most people, I feel like with their little siblings are like, oh, sibling rivalry. And that's what she's like with me. But I'm like with her is like, no, you're good. You are, I am proud of you is what I am. I don't feel the need to be better than you. I don't feel like I have to, you know, compete with or surpass you. I love you and I'm proud of you and I'm amazed at what you do and I want you to teach me if you have the time. And although I do indulge in the sibling rivalry a little bit because that motivates her. And I think in a way, you know, it's good, it's healthy. It motivates, if I can do it to motivate her, that motivates me. And I want her to do better too. And if I do better, then she'll do better just because that's how she is. And that's amazing. And I love that. And I love encouraging that. This tree is looking very good. Oops, I forgot about this one. Put that stroke down there to spread into the rest of the branch and then forgot about it. Now I gotta go back in and add more colors. This could maybe actually use a bit more of this brown one too. Oop, too much. There we go. But yeah, siblings are cool. I'm glad I have one. And I'm glad I have the sibling that I have specifically, because I love her. I love her. I'm thinking about maybe like, I want to be a foster parent someday. And I'm not saying that's the same as being a big sister. That's different. You have more responsibility. You have to, you know. And it's unpredictable, but so is any kid. Honestly, every kid is gonna be unpredictable and end up with things that, and traits and passions and identities that you don't expect. And I think I'd want to encourage that. You know? Be yourself. Be kind. Be yourself. Take other people's opinions and thoughts and stuff into account because, you know, they should be allowed to be themselves too. So long as they're not being mean. And that's the crux of it, you know? Like, you can be and do and become whatever and whoever you want, so long as you're not hurting anyone else. That's my philosophy anyway. Be yourself, so long as who yourself is isn't hurting anyone. And other people sometimes try to convince you that being yourself is hurting them. And maybe sometimes it is, and you have to, like, you know, think about that. But a lot of the time, it's also that they're hurting you more. And maybe they think they're being hurt, but they're not. They're just having their worldview be challenged or something. Or they're having their internal idea of who you are challenged. And it's good to be challenged, you know? Again, so long as you're not hurting anyone, so long as you're not being mean to anyone. And if people are being mean to you, stand up for them. Find ways to protect yourself. You know? And sometimes they're being mean because they're confused. And in that case, it's important to have a conversation with them, if you can handle it, to talk it out. And then maybe both of you will come away from that for the better. And this is all generalizations, you know. There's always exceptions to every rule and piece of advice that you'll ever hear in your entire life. Because the world is complicated. And that's good in many ways. There's a diversity of experiences and situations and things that can happen. I like how this tree is coming out. This is a very rich color that I've ended up with here. I kind of want to spread it everywhere. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow too. TeeBee's dad needs a turnaround. Maybe I'll do that on stream tomorrow. You think, would you guys like that? Like a character design stream instead of just a, oh, let me check something. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. But yeah, character design stream instead of a set design stream once. And TeeBee's Papa, I'm excited about that character. And he's based on a real person. He's based on TeeBee's dad, on Tavarius's dad. Which, it's a good thing. Like, if you're stuck on a character design, think about the people that you know in your life. Think about the people that you know in your life who might not get a whole lot of representation in the media they consume. You know? Like, I know I have people who I care about that are very different. You know, people who are queer and gender diverse and neurodivergent and disabled and like physically disabled. People with different body types and skin tones and experiences. Who don't really always get to see themselves in the shows that they love. And that's okay. You know, I encourage you to find a show that portrays an experience completely different from your own. You know, find something that was made in a completely different culture. Find something that was made in, like, a different language or by a different kind of person. Someone with something that was made with a different class or sexuality or race or ethnicity than yours. And learn something. About that experience that's completely different from yours. And I find that usually when you seek out those completely different experiences, there's a core to most of them that isn't actually all that different from your own experience, because we're all people. You know, we all experience pride and longing and sadness and joy. We all experience alienation or regret or love. Like, there is a universal human experience in all that diversity. And you might find that someone that you thought was really different, like an experience that you thought was really different from your own, isn't all that different from your own at all. Or you might find that it's completely different, but you still learn to empathize with it. Like, you can, that's the amazing thing about stories, you know, is that you can experience things that you never could have ever experienced before in your entire life. You could experience being an immigrant. You could experience being a young child. You can experience being a wizard or a unicorn or a stapler. If you really want to experience being a stapler, there's probably stories out there for you somewhere. And if you don't find... And you can always make a story about being a stapler if you really, really wanted to. I think that'd be fun. You know? Make for a neat short film. Or story. Or an animal. Like, my class, we had to read Watership Down as kids, which is a story about rabbits. And we had to read this story in order to teach us about different forms of political structures. Because these rabbits had to go away from their home because they didn't agree with the way that the elder rabbits were running things. And on their journey, they meet all these different kinds of rabbits with all these different ways that they run things. And eventually, you know, after a lot of hardship and struggle, it's a very, very dark story. But after all this hardship and struggle, they managed to be able to establish their own society, taking bits and pieces from the best parts of all the ones that they've seen so far. You know? Like, there's even a rabbity anarchist society, which was one of the most advanced ones that they'd seen, because that freedom allowed them to invent new kinds of burrows and stuff. But the reason that society, and spoilers, I guess, for those of you who want to read Watership Down, but the reason why that society collapsed was because of outside forces and the fact that they didn't have the organization to create a good escape plan or anything. Which I think is sad. I liked that rabbit society a lot because it was so inventive. You know? But I can understand, you know, the need to, like, it doesn't fulfill all the needs that a society has, especially when it's not isolated. Like, if humans were to try and do complete anarchism, who makes the medicine? You know, who makes the mobility aids? Who makes the safe parks with playground equipment that's actually, like, you know, bolted down? Who makes the sidewalks that are well maintained? You have to have some organization in order to actually, you know, succeed. You have to go and make negotiations with friends or even people you don't agree with, and you have to come up with solutions to problems that all of you face. I don't remember if any of the rabbit politic systems had socialism in it. If any of them did, they were probably, like, destroyed by greater forces or something, like humans. Most of the rabbit societies sort of the humans destroyed them. I think the same thing happened in Warrior Cats, too. I didn't actually read all that much Warrior Cats after the first, like, arc with Firestar. I read that, and then I read a little bit of the next book where there was a badger in it. And they had to, like, go on this mass migration through the highway and all that. I was a kid. I was used to books stopping, like, after... I wasn't used to books having more than one arc. Are you kidding me? Animorphs is a good book series, too. I like Animorphs a lot. another really dark book, but like, I like it. Like, it's a dark, 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 dark story if you actually take the time to read it. But it's fascinating. And I think I like dark stories sometimes because I'm a bit of a bright person, so I'm a bit, I think, maybe better equipped to handle dark stories sometimes. I'm not into like horror or anything. You know, I still tend to prefer happier stories because, although I do like some horror, like Jordan Peele makes some really good work. Still have to watch Get Out. But the Wendell and Wild movie, really loved that one. And I feel like that was probably less horror, or like it had a happy ending, so it felt less horror than some of his other work might have. But it was good. Ending felt a bit rushed. I find that's true in a lot of cases, though. Like Kubo and the Two Strings, amazing story, incredible visually, did not know how to end. Like, this movie, like Kubo and the Two Strings is a movie that tells you all of the narrative's problems in the first scene. Like, in the first scene, the problem is, and everyone tells Kubo, they're all like, I love your stories. How are they gonna end? And he's like, and he keeps avoiding that. And I feel like the people who made the movie might have done that a little bit too. Because the ending didn't really feel like it fit in with the rest of the story. But that's okay, because it was a wonderful movie in many, many other ways, you know? I think it's important to recognize the parts of things that you do like and the parts of things that you don't like. And those two parts can coexist, and that's good to recognize. I'm trying to get like a barky texture here, now that we've established most of our colors. Maybe you should go for a small paintbrush for this part. I think some yellow ochre might work. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that helps. Actually, let's check our color app, make sure everything's okay. Oh yeah, that works. You can see. The yellow ochre brings a good variation on all of them. I'm starting to think maybe I'll just finish the tree this time and save the rest for tomorrow. Maybe. Well, let's get some leaves in there at least. Okay, the problem is when you're red-green colorblind, green and brown look very similar. I'm gonna try and use this one though, I think. Okay, so let's do our test paper, see what that looks like. Let's try out every color of green. And I think the reason why this one might stand out a bit more is because it is bluer. Let's take a look. Oh wow, yeah, that looks completely different on the red-green color blindness spectrum than it does on any of the others. Like, it looks like different shades of yellow and brown, with this one feeling like a cool gray almost. And this one being very yellow. I think since that's the case though, we might go for this more yellowy green. Make it pop. Let's pull up our thing of the trees. And let's look at it. Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, those greens really do not pop in the real version. But I think I'm gonna fudge it a bit. Make these really vibrant, like blue undertone, yellow overtone leaves. And let's check our app, see how that looks. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's like almost too vibrant. I might calm it down with some of this. And let's see what that looks like. Much better. It's calmer. Like, you have to make a few sacrifices, I suppose. Like, there's a couple ways that you can do accessible design. You could focus on a specific disability that you are catering to with things like subtitles. Or you could try to, or like with subtitles or audiobooks, like an audiobook is perfect for someone who's blind, but absolutely just does not work for someone who is hard of hearing, right? But it's still good to have. Because it is good for those people who are hard of hearing or who might need to use their eyes for something else. And that's the thing, again, with accessible design, is that when you do accessible design, it tends to help more than just the specific disability you're making it for. It tends to help everyone. Like subtitles. I have ADHD, and with that comes a little bit of language processing disorder. So I use subtitles because that helps me understand what the characters are saying without having to go back and listen to it again a cajillion times. And what I'm doing with this, and I might talk with my boss about thinking about designing for, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to cater to a bunch of different audiences, like the YouTube miniseries. It doubles as an audiobook for the books, and the books are there for people who can't deal with moving images and the, like, you know, it's all, and it's good because then you have things for everyone. And that helps more than just, you know, a specific kind of person. That helps just like everyone who could possibly see your thing. Color check. And I'm doing color checks in my attempts to make it good for everyone who could see it. And the leaves still blend in with the trees in the red-green color blindness spectrum. I think that might just be how it is for this. And I'm going to do my best to make other things pop that people with other kinds of color vision might not get either. Okay, stretching is good. What time is it? 12:47. Okay. And I might end the stream just a little bit early today, but make up for it by doing one tomorrow. Because I'm tired. Just a little bit. You guys don't mind, because I don't see anyone here. Talking to myself over here. That's okay. Wouldn't be the first time. It's been a while since I've had a flop day, though. I think it's important to, you know, every once in a while, give yourself a day where you just flop. And if you don't schedule it for your body's gonna schedule it for you. Just take a day and rest. Just don't do anything that whole day. Maybe do a few things that you enjoy, like watch TV, or if you need to, do some laundry. Do some laundry. More like, you know, but try to keep things low energy in your flop day. Water time. And it's important to let you and your body rest every once in a while. Like, not just the sleep that you do every night, but like other things to rest too. And I think that a lot of people forget to take care of themselves in that way. Because our modern day society likes to call people who take flop days lazy. I think that's dumb. I think do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself and your health and your body. I forgot a branch here. Let's fix that. There we go. Yeah. I think that finishing this might be a tomorrow task. But I think we've gotten some good progress done. We've got this trunk, we've got these leaves, we've got everything set up so that it'll be even better next time. Because I got this brand new camera set up, and we figured out a bunch of things today. So I think I will leave finishing this up for next time. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.